Welcome back to the Caregiver Minute, where every weekday family and professional caregivers gather to refine their skills, gain inspiration, and prepare to serve. Imagine that you're driving along with your adult children and just enjoying the scenery when suddenly the car pulls into what looks like the parking lot of a beautiful hotel. And one of your children says, "Let's go in." And you go into the hotel, and a nice-looking lady smiles at you and calls you by name at the front desk and says, "Oh, we're so glad that you're moving in. Let me show you to your room." And then along the way, she introduces you to someone who she calls the nurse and says, "Now, the nurse is going to have some questions for you." And then you meet a few other people along the way. Well, you can probably see where I'm going with this. Can you imagine how upsetting and confusing a situation like that would be? And yet I think that's exactly what many people living with Alzheimer's or other types of dementia go through when their family members move them into a long-term care setting. I think often we treat a move like that far too literally. We treat people as if they had the capacity to follow the thread of a conversation, to remember all the times that people tried to tell them that they were going to move into this facility for whatever reason or another. And it doesn't go very well because, quite simply, people living with dementia often have such damage to their brains that they can't remember things longer than a few seconds. And if we give them minutes or hours or days worth of information, it's completely lost on them. Some families spend tremendous amounts of time trying to convince their loved one for days or weeks on end that it's time to move into this memory care community. And the day that they move, their loved one still has no idea what's going on, where they are, or why these strange people are talking to them about their room when they know full well that that is not their house and that is not where they're going to stay because no one talked to them about it. I think we get a lot further when we understand that if people are truly trapped in the moment, we do better when we give them one little bit of information at a time, when they experience one moment to the next. So instead of walking somebody into an assisted living or skilled nursing or memory care facility and treating it like a move and saying, "We're so glad that you're moving in," we could talk more in terms of, "Oh, you must be so-and-so." Or we could connect with their family members and then get introduced to the person and say something like, "I'm so glad you came to visit." That sounds a lot more normal and natural. If you and I were driving around with family members and they wanted to stop and see a friend who happened to work in a hotel, and we walked in and the friend was introduced to us and showed us around a little bit, it wouldn't be as upsetting as if they said, "Welcome to your new home," when we had no idea who made the decision that we were even moving. I think if we keep this in mind and work really hard to not ask people that we're serving to do more than their brains are currently capable of, and if we really try to steer from their point of view, we're going to get a lot further. So whether you're a professional working in settings that people move into and live in, or you're a family member who needs to move someone into one of those settings, or you're just dealing with the day-to-day reality of significant memory loss and being trapped in the moment, it makes a difference when we only give people as much information as they're capable of processing right then and there, and we try to steer from their point of view. We ask ourselves, how would the world look if I was just beamed onto this situation and I showed up in this moment? I hope that's helpful to you and to the people that you serve, and I appreciate you sharing the Caregiver Minute with anyone who you think may benefit. Have a great day. I'll see you again soon for another episode of the Caregiver Minute.